Good day, people of the earth. This is Ruby, your Sci-Tech on Air. You're listening to the 𝗲𝘂𝗶𝗟𝗏 podcast, your go-to show for science and technology talks. Join me as we unravel today's episode, Journey to AI.
What is artificial intelligence? Before we answer that, let's look at these terms individually. What do you understand by the term artificial? Well, it can be anything that is made by humans, things that are non-natural. And what do you understand by intelligence? It is the ability to understand, think, and learn. So what do we get when we combine these two together? Artificial intelligence is a broad area of computer science that makes machines seem like they have human intelligence. The goal of AI is to mimic the human brain and create systems that can function intelligently and independently.
You just watched a short video about artificial intelligence. To get to know more about our topic, let's continue the journey with our guest. Let's welcome the biology students from Philippine Normal University, Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗶-𝗟𝗶𝘁, Ms. 𝗏𝘏𝗏𝗏 and Mr. John 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Say hi to our viewers!
Hello.
So, as kick-off, can anyone tell us the recent developments we had on artificial intelligence here in the Philippines? Let's start with Billy.
So the recent agenda here in the Philippines about AI is all about AI-enabled X-ray platform. So it is invented by Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So this AI-enabled X-ray platform can test pathologies in the tissue, and it can also regulate causes of pneumonia, COVID-19, and other diseases.
So, thank you for that, Billy. Now we have learned that AIs can also be used for health industries. Now let's have Emmanuel. What can you share about AIs here in the Philippines?
Okay, thank you. So, the UST Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research Development launched 9 new projects on artificial intelligence. Some of those are unmanned aerial vehicles, unmanned ground vehicles, automated labeling machine, and intelligent structural health monitoring.
So now, kay Emma naman, we have learned that AIs can also be used for transportation. So I hope our listeners are somehow familiar with it. Kung hindi man, na-inform sila sa mga possible na pwede nilang i-research online. So before diving deeper into it, let's take a glimpse and learn in return from the people's pulse. In this segment, we conducted an online survey assessing the extent of Filipinos' knowledge about AI and its impact on SDGs. So the results suggested that 34 out of 37 respondents are familiar, pero hindi ganoon talaga nila alam kung ano nga ba yung AI. Mas marami ang hindi talaga familiar about dito. So they wanted to know more about its advantages and disadvantages na sa tingin ko our podcast will teach them, or they will have a lot of knowledge throughout, hopefully. So in alignment to SDGs, most of them do not believe that AI can solve problems for ending poverty, promoting zero hunger, and reducing inequalities within and among countries. So meron ding mga almost close na opinions, like when it comes to whether AI can be an effective solution for achieving gender equality and promoting peace, justice, and strong institutions. Medyo nagkakagulo sila, merong okay, merong hindi daw, but most of them presume that it would bridge an achievement of the remaining SDGs, most especially in the advancement of industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and even building sustainable cities and communities. So, given these results, we have invited 2 of the respondents in the survey to further ask them regarding the results. So may I call on Ms. Amanda De Vera to know what do you feel about the results?
Good day, everyone. Based on the data given, it reflects my personal answer to it, so I feel that most of us have the same ideas about what an AI is, but I'm hoping to learn more as we move along to this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. So I'm pleased with your responses and I'm delighted to have you both. So now let's keep moving forward on our next segment called The Third Side of the Coin, an Ethical Concern. This will be played like a fast talk. So magbibigay lang ako ng mga questions, kailangan yung sagutin within 30 seconds. This is all about ethical issues regarding AI. So now let's begin. For our first question, AI can be fully developed. In any way, it can be purposeful for humans. However, humans themselves are the creators of these self-learning AIs. Thus, it can be susceptible to inaccuracies and inserted prejudices. As consumers, how can we be able to ensure that AIs will be designed as neutral and anti-discriminatory machines? Will the manufacturers be held accountable for these discrepancies? So who wants to start?
I think it's good to start the discussion. I agree, ladies first.
Sige ako na, no? AI, disagree ako dito. What do we mean by prejudice in AI? So, prejudice in AI happens when social stereotypes heavily influence the training data used by the developers. So, we all know that AI models learn by themselves. Tao ang nagbibigay ng informasyon, data sa mga AI. So, instead, the algorithm gives specific data to learn and more data to be better. So, that AI become biased. No? The results cannot be generalized widely, but it is how it obtains the data, it becomes prejudice.
So thank you for that, Keith. Very vocal siya, no, na she disagrees about AI. How about Billy?
So I think AI becomes prejudice or bias. So AI has the impact or positive impact not only to ourselves but to the society itself. So I think AI is not biased or not prejudiced as long as we study it or we always do what it is or how it works in the modern world. So that's all.
Thank you, Billy. Kabaliktaran naman siya ni Kate, no? Para sa kanya, walang prejudice when it comes to AIs. How about Emma?
Bilang mamimili o gumagamit nito, we cannot ensure that AIs will be designed as neutral and anti-discriminatory machines. Pero we can make manufacturers be held accountable for whatever discrepancies in their products or services. AI is considered a product if sold to a person and service if rented to a specific period of time to serve its vendor. Regardless of whether AI is a product or service, according to Republic Act 7394, or also known as Consumer Act of the Philippines, if a product is found to be injurious, unsafe, or dangerous, any consumer may file a petition for a product to recall, ban, or seizure from public sale or distribution until such time that safety can be assured or measures to ensure its safety have been established.
Thank you, Eman. Para sa kanya, let's let the government handle it. Now for our second question. Some articles are against AI. They said that AI lacks ethics because it violates personal privacy and data sourcing. As a pro AI and anti-AI, what can you say about this article? Let's start with Billy.
So I think for me, it is a super intelligence. For machines can overtake people's intelligence and capability to work. So, kasi, when we hear the word AI, una pumapasok sa utak natin or sa pag-isip natin ay robots, technology, na maaaring makatipid sa humanity. Pero kapag lang marami sinito matutulong. And when it comes to data processing or data privacy, so, some of us, nakikita ka agad yung data natin or yung record of data natin. Kapag nagawin tayo ng phone jack, but this one just administer tayo online. So, I think it is our duty to be responsible in using AI, using our phone, laptops, and other modern technologies. So, because already, everything we have done using manipulative content online. That's everything.
Thank you for that, Billy. Para sa kanya, let's be responsible users. Now, let's have Kate.
For me, now, it is really unethical to violate one's personal privacy because privacy breaches or disturb trust and run the risk of diluting or losing security. So, it is a show of disrespect to the law and a violation of ethical principles. Data will be available to manipulate and manage, so the risk will become higher and will become harder to protect.
So, thank you, Kate. Para sa kanya, kung mahirap naman palang i-protect, di ba? Parang mas magiging malalim yung risk nito pag mas lalo pa natin pinagpatuloy. What about Eman?
So, to tell you honestly, your privacy is already at risk, no? Sa unang paggamit pa lang ng cellphone, alam na ng creator yung mga personal information mo. In black market, binibenta nila yung mga information na yun in bundles or batches. These different people sold to the highest bidder. Pero huwag ka matakot. Huawei, for example, cannot work with US-based companies because of a security risk that China intends to use for their benefit. This is exactly what a government can do when your rights are violated. So, binan nila ng US government yung Huawei dahil ito ay may risk sa kanila. So, huwag kang matakot. Yan lang.
Ayan, thank you, Eman. Sabi nga ni Eman, wag daw kayong matakot kasi even our modern technologies now ay protected naman or kailangan din talaga ng mga private information or personal information. Now, let's have our final question. AI has no consciousness and therefore it can't discern right or wrong. So, as human beings with consciousness and moral acumen, how would you ensure that AI will not violate our ethical values given that it is just a machine that follows specific codes that its creator placed into? So, for now, let's start with Eman.
Ito yung totoo, no? Walang garantiya that AI will not violate ethical values if an order is encoded to it. Susundin lang yun ng AI. On the other side, there are early-stage experimental scientific ideas of consciousness and moral acumen na pwedeng ilagay sa AI. So isipin mo, pwede na makapag-isip ng sarili ng AI kung tama ba o mali yung ginagawa niya. Some of you may think that this is the start of AI singularity. Don't be afraid again because certain programs and systems will still limit the capacity of AI to ensure that it will not transcend its creator. May mga programa or sistema sa AI kung saan limitahan kung ano lang yung dapat niyang gawin. So, yun lang.
So, thank you for that, Eman. Now, let's hear it from Billy.
So, ang ethical values ng AI ay intended to, inform and develop as well as to be responsible in artificial intelligence and technology. So, kung dito pa lang sa ethical values na to ay medyo magkakaroon na tayo ng problema o hindi na natin kayang pwede, it is possible for us humans to make them using the artificial intelligence. So, hindi na natin maintindihan kung paano gamitin ito ng mga tao o kung paano ito gumagana. So, I think it is necessary to be transparent or to follow ethical rules na itinakda ng mga tao sa AI or sa artificial intelligence in order for us to, monitor the values behind it, the ethical values behind AI. That's all.
So, thank you, Billy. Now, let's call on Kate.
For me, hindi tao kumuha ng AI. Tayo kasi mga tayo ng Diyos na meron tayong consciousness. Ngayon naman, ang AI gawa ng tao, pero wala itong consciousness. So, in short, they don't know what is wrong and right. Hindi nila alam kung tama ba ginagawa nila kung mali. It can be a big factor or a risk kasi pwede tayong ang mga data or such pwedeng mamanipula, pwedeng gawa ng masama o mabuti. No? So, gaya ng sinabi ko, mataas ang risk na ma-violate ito ang ethical rules.
So, thank you, Kate. So, our guests are very witty and they have given us a lot of informative answers. Now, for our imparting words, let's have a short calibration on what you have learned on today's episode. Are there any second thoughts for our pro and anti-AIs?
Grabe yung usapan natin ngayon sa AI. So, yun nga, kung ulitin ko lang about sa usapan natin ngayon, sa concept natin ngayon dito, na ang AI ay merong advantages or meron din ang disadvantages. Pero, if we let ourselves to, to not think about it, nag-defend na natin yan, sa sarili na natin yan. So, another is through that we're gonna be benefiting from artificial intelligence. Then, at the end of the day, meron pa rin itong negative impact na mangyayari sa society or sa ating society or sa sarili natin. At ito about AI, talk about AI. So, I must be aware to the differences of concepts. So, that's all.
Thank you, Billy. And now, how about Emma?
We are in the year 2022, currently in Industrial Revolution 4.2, where automation and data exchange in manufacturing, technologies and processes is starting to rise. Maybe a century, 50 years, or much later than that, the fifth Industrial Revolution may begin where humans and machines work synergistically. So, magiging katrabaho muna yung mga robots, no? So, AI singularity, in which technology like machines become self-aware and reaches an ability to evolve faster beyond our control, this may or may not happen in the future. Pero regardless of that, we are imperfect. Thus, our creations cannot be perfect. Yet, this imperfection of us make us human. We feel guilty because we have consciousness and we have principles and values that we uphold as a person and responsible citizen of this world. So, let these ethical values and principles be our guide to decide what we want to shape in our future.
Thank you, Emma. Now, lastly, we have Kate.
First of all, our podcast is very knowledgeable and fun. Dami kong natutunan na informasyon, mga bagong informasyon na aking babaunin. So, then as for Mr. Saron has already said, artificial intelligence has at least advantage and advantages. At marami pa tatahakin na debate tungkol sa AI. May mga pros and antis kasi, di ba? So, nasa atin na lang at nasa tao na lang yun. Kung ang AI is ba ay gagamitin nila bilang kasamaan o gagamitin nila sa kabutihan. So, ako, open naman ako sa AI as long as masunod naman ang ating ethical rules and values of data. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Kate. Thank you dahil everyone is very open on their opinions and very open to learn something new. So that brings us to an end. Hopefully this episode helps you to know more about AIs. And once again, thank you to our special guests and interviewees for joining us today. I hope to invite you all again. And as always, thank you to our people of the earth. Stay tuned for more Sci-Tech Talks and hope you had fun. See you on our next episode of 𝗏𝗏. Have a great day ahead. Bye!